Bonjour, Toby Baisley from French Speak. In this video I'm going to share with you some of the learnings, sorry, wobbly chair, and some of the learnings of our collective learners. So when we get together online or offline to practice our French, there's always some things that we learn along the way, some mistakes we make and some things we clarify and some things we add to our vocabulary or grammar as we go, some cool expressions and other things. So some are general learning tips, some are resources, but we never leave without learning something new. So I'm going to do my best after each event to come and do a video for you, and this is from last Saturday. So the first one is ma puce. Ma puce means my flea in French, but it's an endearing word that we use daily to say my darling, my sweetie. It's always a very nice word to be called and to call someone, but it doesn't translate very well in English. So don't be offended if someone says ma puce, but it's usually for a girl or a woman, and it's directly translated to flea. Gros bisous was another thing I got asked. How do I say kisses at the end? I'm sending a message, an email, a postcard to someone who's in France and we're friends and I stayed at their house. How do I finish my message in a casual way that's not too formal? And bisous or gros bisous works very well. So those ones can be used. The next one was, I shared a video recently, I think it was called 6 Ways to Say I Love You, and there's different options in there depending on if you want to tell someone that you like them, if you love them, if you want to propose to them, and here was one of the more unusual ones that I thought was worth adding, and it was je te vénère, I worship you, je te vénère. And what I was warning the students about is that in very slangy French, we can sometimes, called argot, we can sometimes switch the end of the word and the start of the word around to make a new word. And it's a trend that's been going on for a long time, and it's not really something I use in my everyday, and I don't really have people who speak like that and who I speak to. So I don't hear them very often, but this vénère is actually one that I do hear a lot, that I hear more than others, and it means angry, annoyed and angry. Je suis vénère, because what they're switching around is énervé. Je suis énervé, but they're saying je suis vénère. So make sure to notice the difference between I am vénère, and then they're saying énervé in argot, or je te vénère, which will be said in a totally different context, and that's I worship you. So a bit overly dramatic. Je t'aime should do just fine, but this is to add to your vocabulary. The next one I had on my list is to give hugs. You can tell that Valentine's was just around the corner. We talked a lot about love and liking and emotions. Faire des câlins is to hug someone, or câliner. Faire des câlins or câliner. Then we had someone ask about relieved. Oh, I feel relieved. I was relieved. That kind of emotion that you can get. In French, we say je suis soulagé. Je suis soulagé is how you'll say I am relieved. Someone else asked about how to say it depends on. And do we use the word sur? On the table is sur la table. So if I say it depends on, do I use the word sur? And we practice this one together and we don't. In French, ça dépend de. So it can be ça dépend de mon amie Sylvie, my friend Sylvie. Ça dépend de mes parents. It depends on my parents. Ça dépend de mes enfants. It depends on my kids. Ça dépend de is what you're using. You won't need the word sur in that one. Just learn it and memorize it as an expression, so you don't have to think, what on do I need to use here? Ça dépend de. The next one I wanted to add, this is 6, Number 7 was a more advanced learner was saying, how would I say I've written it down to get it right. I should have known that something something. I should have known that, add anything to that. And it was the first element that he was asking about. And should is a bit of a tricky one to recognize, but all it is would in disguise. So should is just a derived word from would, which means that if you recognize would, try and think of the conditional every time. So I should is just the conditional of, is one of the conditionals, and this one was I should have known. So j'aurais dû, we're using devoir, to have to, or in present you might know it as must. Devoir, to have to. I should have, j'aurais dû. And then here it was known, but it could be anything. So I should have known, j'aurais dû savoir que something something. I should have known that. We're looking at the conditional past again. The mood is called conditional. It's the past tense of that conditional. And here it's with the verb devoir, which transforms into dû with an accent circonflexe on top. And I'll make sure that you can read that as we go. So there'll be something to read below. J'aurais dû savoir que. Numéro 8, number 8 was I'm going home. And lots of people say, oh, I know a word for home. It could be chez moi. Or, oh, home is something to do with la maison, the house. And actually in French we have a verb that encompasses go home. It's all in there. There's no need to add the word chez moi, at my place, or the word maison, which does mean house or home. All we say is je rentre. I'm going home. I go home. Je rentre. And that should be number 9, and I think number 10, I'm going to have to recount them from the start, it was about going and having a nap, because everyone was feeling very tired after our practice. So to have a nap is to make, faire la sieste. Faire la sieste. And you might recognize the word siesta. Spanish use the word siesta. We use sieste. And it's to do a nap. Faire la sieste, not having a nap. So we make or we do la sieste. And someone was saying, I feel like having a nap. So j'ai envie de faire la sieste. J'ai envie de, I feel like, and a verb, I feel like doing, I feel like dancing, I feel like sleeping. All of those are really good verbs to just put in infinitive after you've said j'ai envie de. You just need to remember the structure and not forget the de. You don't need to do anything with the word envie. You just change I, j'ai to tu as envie de, il a envie de. So if you know how to conjugate avoir in present, you can say anyone feels like doing anything, and you just put the verb in infinitive. So we had j'ai envie de faire la sieste, which you can adapt to sentences you want. So I'd love to hear from you below the video. Let me know what you've learned on this one, and maybe just pick one. Pick one that you can include in your writing or in your speaking next time. And I'll see you in the next video. Au revoir.